Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Let's rock and roll that rabbit hole.
So how far down the rabbit hole are you really? I'll go first. I'm so far down that I found Jesus. I'm so far down that I'm thinking not so much with the climate change and more so with the precession of the equinoxes. I'm so far down, I'm thinking not so much evolution as something entirely different I can't quite put my finger on. I'm so far down, I know the flood wasn't a myth. I'm so far down, quantum immortality, reincarnation, what's the difference? I'm so far down that why are telepathy and telekinesis crazy at all? I'm far enough down to know that I don't know which way to go from here, but I know I have to keep going. There is no getting out. So to everyone out there who is as far down or further down than I am, where do I go from here? Any advice?
Have you guys gotten to the point in your spiritual awakening where it's absolutely too painful to watch TV or movies anymore?
I'm so far down the rabbit hole that I've gone back and questioned everything I was told to believe. What advice would you give that young lady? I guess the advice I would give her would be, don't get lost in these rabbit holes. Many of them are just intriguing stories, points of interest, or just something to think about. I can certainly resonate with the gentleman on TV and movies. I just can't.
We need to investigate everybody who worked on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Because somebody who was in that room is a time traveler, and I am sure of that. If I were to tell you 13 years ago a game developer would predict the future, you'd probably call me crazy, right? But stay with me. You see, Black Ops 2 was released in November of 2012, and in every single Call of Duty game, there's a campaign. And in the campaign of Black Ops 2, China and the United States are in a Cold War. But why exactly did China and the United States get into a Cold War? As it says right here, it's because China stopped exporting rare earth elements, which is something that sounds ridiculously insane, like that would never happen. Only yesterday, that's what China did. You may be thinking, oh my gosh, this is a reach. It's a video game who said sometime in the future this would all happen. But it gets even crazier when you realize when Black Ops 2 was set. Because in this video game, it's not set in 2012. In fact, it is set in the year 2025. As in the year 2025 that we are in. Meaning that 13 years ago, the game development team that was building Black Ops 2 accurately predicted all of this down to the exact year that this is happening.
Yes, I'm sure the Call of Duty developers can see into the future. Our reality seems scripted to me. Manifest destiny? Or could it be predictive programming? Or just mere coincidence?
What if you could never truly die? Quantum immortality suggests that in the quantum realm, you always survive. Imagine facing a life-threatening situation. In some universes, you die, but in others, you survive. Your consciousness continues in the surviving universes, creating the illusion of immortality. This theory relies on the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, where all possible outcomes occur. It challenges our understanding of life and death, suggesting that your consciousness might always find a way to persist, experiencing an endless sequence of lives. Each decision branches off into a new reality where you continue to exist, forever escaping the finality of death.
So there's this idea called quantum immortality that I really like, that I find helps a lot to kind of alleviate fears of death. Essentially, it states that as long as you're willing to be conscious, you will never die. So imagine that you're in a room and there's a bomb, there's a button in the room with a 50% chance to explode a bomb in the room, making the room explode and you die. And you think that 50% of the time it's going to explode and you're going to die, right? But according to quantum immortality, as long as you're willing to be conscious, you will constantly shift yourself to a reality in which the bomb doesn't explode and you are still alive. And now you might see other people in their rooms exploding, but that's external to you. You yourself will never die unless you're actually willing to die. And also Bashar talks about this idea as well, where he's basically saying, like, when you're ready to move on, you will move on. But until you're ready to move on, you will just not. You will stay. And like all of these fucking quantum woo-woo crazy shit will happen to make sure that you're alive because you're willing to be alive.
Quantum immortality. The real-life respawn glitch. You should be dead. That car missed you by inches. Lucky? Maybe. Or maybe you just don't die. Quantum immortality is the idea that every time you die, your consciousness jumps. Not to heaven, not to hell, but to the nearest reality where you survived. From your perspective, you never die. You just keep waking up in timelines where you barely made it. Take Frain Selak, a man who should have died multiple times. In 1954, his train derailed into an icy river. 17 people drowned. He didn't. The next year, he was sucked out of a plane mid-flight and landed in a haystack. Then a bus crash, multiple car crashes, a car explosion, and finally he won the lottery. From his perspective, he never died, and that's the terrifying part. If quantum immortality is real, then you will never experience your own death. The versions of you that died, you don't remember them, because they're gone. But what happens when there's no timeline left where you survive?
Quantum immortality. Could this be a clue to where Mandela effect originates? They say that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. If our soul is pure energy, then perhaps there's some validity to this theory. Blowfish are so cute and deadly. Can't believe people would consider that little guy a delicacy. Looks more like a dog's chew toy.
Hidden deep underground lies the world's largest scientific experiment. CERN is a global research organization where brilliant minds from around the world gather to decode the subatomic mysteries shaping our universe. Here they've built what's known as the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, which is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. Imagine a massive circular tunnel 100 meters beneath the Earth that stretches 27 kilometers and even crosses the border between France and Switzerland. But while the LHC's scientific achievements are mind-blowing, strange stories and videos have surfaced that show bizarre rituals, cryptic statues, and even acts of sacrifice allegedly connected to this massive underground experiment. Many claim that CERN's experiments are unlocking something darker than just subatomic particles. Some even say that CERN is attempting to open portals to other dimensions or contact otherworldly entities. But what are the clues for all this? Well, let's start with the statue of Shiva right outside CERN's headquarters. Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction. So why is it there? Some think it's a sign that CERN is tapping into ancient occult powers. And the statue of Shiva, that's just the beginning. There was a bizarre performance where over 600 people, including individuals dressed as goats, winged creatures, and what some claim are demonic figures, all engaged in a series of ritualistic scenes filled with mystical and occult-like symbols. Then there's a shocking video that went viral that showed what appeared to be a ritualistic human sacrifice right on CERN's campus. The video shows a group of robed figures gathered in a courtyard in front of the statue of Shiva, seemingly performing an elaborate ritual which involved what looked like the sacrifice of a woman. Some even say that CERN is trying to open a portal to hell or contact demonic forces, and they point to CERN's logo, claiming it hides the number 666, the number of the beast. And the theories grow even wilder. CERN is accused of opening wormholes, creating black holes, and even manipulating time itself. And if you think that sounds like science fiction, well, consider that conspiracy theorists point to real experiments where scientists deliberately tried to recreate conditions just moments after the Big Bang. Elementary particles are like the alphabet of the physical universe. By smashing particles together at such high speeds, scientists can observe fragments that reveal what they believe to be the building blocks of the universe. And this led to a groundbreaking discovery in 2012, the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle. The God particle was the last missing piece of the standard model of physics. Its detection confirmed that an underlying field exists, providing particles with mass. But could the discovery of the God particle actually be the beginning of the end? Some believe that the Higgs boson, or the God particle, could be like a Pandora's box, triggering catastrophic consequences by disturbing the fundamental forces holding the universe together. Others say that CERN's experiments with high-energy collisions risk creating miniature black holes that could swallow the Earth. Some even suggest that CERN's particle physics experiments are intricately linked to the biblical prophecy of the end times by pointing to the Book of Revelation, which they believe predicts CERN's involvement in ushering in the end times by opening gateways to hellish realms.
CERN seems to have many strange practices going on, odd and questionable behavior. From their logos to their ceremonies, I get a very dark vibe from that. What do you guys think? Is it science moving at the speed of light, or black magic being used for nefarious purposes? Could it also be an explanation for Mandela effect? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
This is Monument Valley, on the corner of Utah and Arizona, United States. Now, if you notice, these are cut blocks in the ground. And I've been trying to tell y'all that ancient people had technology that they don't tell us about. So how did these blocks happen naturally? I know there's going to be someone that drops in the comments and defends the Matrix programming to try to explain how this is natural. These cuts, look at that cut. Look at these cuts all throughout the land here. You can see it's pre-cut. Y'all are seeing what I'm seeing, right? These cuts, it starts at the edge, and then it goes all the way through here, even down up in here. And on the right side where my finger you can't see my finger, but over there too. This looks like somebody took a pizza cutter and just pre-sliced the pizza. So you just grab your piece. That's what that looks like. This is pre-flood. The reason why we know it's pre-flood is because there are fossilized sea creatures all up in this whole area on these rocks, these cubes and stuff. So they were building something back then, and then the flood came, and this is the evidence. This is not natural. This is not natural, okay? Let's continue. We wouldn't even know about this unless this independent guy found this stuff. This is a cube. Look at those dimensions. Right angles. How did they do this? How did they do this? How did they cut the earth like that? Laser technology, people. I'm trying to tell you, ancient people had mad tech. And we're impressed with the iPhone. Okay? They cut the earth like this. And it's like, what were they building? Stuff like the pyramids and stuff like monoliths is what they were building. So what is the point of this video? The point of this video is to get you to question the mainstream information and question what you're being told. Because they conveniently forgot to tell us about this in school. They skipped that part. All right. Intelligent human beings, probably with the Nephilim giants, were cutting these blocks out to build monoliths and temples and all kinds of stuff back in the day. But they didn't tell us about this. Why? Why are they hiding that? Question what you're being told. My natural position, if I hear some major story, something happened and it was caused by this, I immediately doubt the cause. I immediately doubt the reason as to why it happened. Okay? And they're going to tell you that the pyramids were built by hand chiseling rocks out of the mountainside, perfect cubes, to build the pyramids and stuff like that. No, they used technology like lasers, and who knows how they hoisted these up. They probably had some anti-gravity stuff. We don't know because they won't tell us.
So the mainstream science explanation for this is something they call joint blocking, and they say it naturally occurs all over the earth. Of course, I'm a little suspicious of that explanation. It's pretty rare to find perfect right angles in nature, not to mention perfectly straight lines. Is it a natural formation? Or were these quarried by giants or ancient high tech? Perhaps more research is required.
MIT has done it again. They have solved the ancient riddle of the megalithic stones of Peru. By using advanced software, they have calculated the precise center of gravity for these 25-ton stones. They even replicated the interlocking joints, making the Peruvian stones earthquake-proof. By using a really dense concrete on the bottom of the stones and a lighter concrete on top, these stones stand up and are easily moved by a single person. They even nailed the mortarless joints. Problem solved, on to the next. Except not really. The biggest stone at Sacsayhuaman is 200 tons, 9 faces, and not round at the bottom. It's from that quarry, so it couldn't be poured. And there's another problem. These stones are being moved on perfectly flat concrete. These stones at Alante Tambo are a similar size and came from across a mountain. Full disclosure, I think what MIT did is amazing and they acknowledge the ancients, which is awesome. But until you can tell me how they moved this statue 900 kilometers, after they cut it out of one of the hardest materials we use for countertops, after they quarried it without machines like ours to be perfectly carved without diamond tip drill bits, I think we have a long way to go to explain all this stuff. I put 80 other sites just like Peru into Hidden History with an interactive Google map. How they did it is the gateway drug. Why they did it is what I cannot stop learning about. Newest theories on that are in Antiquitex. The never-ending quest for what the hell was going on back then includes sacred geometry and the philosophy they needed to use to achieve this. They had a deep understanding of reality. I have a scary Illuminati logo. Together, we've created Esoteric Santa here to bring you huge lumps of ancient rocks.
MIT did a fantastic job there, but do you think they could pull that off if the stones were 200 tons or 300 tons? I think not.
This is going to blow your mind. What 2 colors do you see in this shoe?
I'm sorry, but yes, we're still on this dress. I just saw a TikTok where people are still arguing about if it's blue or if it's white. And this demonstration is something I found that really shows you what's going on here. And what's going on is, if you see that circle there, it's moving from the blue dress to the white dress and back and forth. And it's actually the exact same color, right? You see there, it fits there, it fits there. But what is going on there is because the blue dress is being lit up by yellow light, so like bright light, and that gives your brain will read that color. And on the white dress, it is being shown like in the shadow, like a blue shadow, and you get the same colors. So all of us are looking at this photo. We all are seeing the exact same colors, but our brain is deciphering this image. And for some of us, we're reading this as a white and gold dress that is in the shadow. So our brains are telling us that, oh, this looks kind of blue to me, but it is in the shadow, and that's why you think it's a white dress. So that's what you're seeing. And a lot of that has to do with the backlighting that you see here, because a lot of times when you see backlighting like that, things on this side are going to maybe be darker, right, in the shadow. But in reality, since it has been confirmed by the people who made the dress is actually dark blue and black. And the reality is that it is backlit, but there's also a lot of light shining on it from this side as well. So it's light from both sides, and that is why the yellow light is making this dress, this really dark navy dress, look kind of white, or like it's graying it out. So that hopefully settles this.
The husband who broke the internet with a blue and black dress has pleaded guilty to trying to kill his wife. Keir Johnston and his wife Grace split the internet with a dress that looked either blue and black or white and gold. However, nearly a decade later, Keir has been sent to jail for attacking and strangling his wife. The couple lived on a remote Scottish island with a population of 124 and no police presence. After pinning Grace on the ground, Keir strangled her, and after a witness dragged him off of her, he threatened to finish her off while holding a knife.
I love optical illusions. As for the shoe, I just see a pink and white shoe. Let me know what you guys think. The black and blue or white and gold dress story from years ago kind of took a dark turn, huh? I'm glad she's okay now. I hope they weren't arguing about the dress.
How does the mirror know what I'm holding behind the laptop? If I change the object without showing the mirror what I'm holding in front of it by hiding it behind this laptop, it still knows that I'm holding this remote. The mirror is supposed to just reflect what is in front of it. not what's behind other objects. Isn't that concerning?
Yeah, what's concerning is that people fall for that crap. The angle and reflection of light onto the mirror allows you to see it from the side. That guy's hilarious, though, with his, "Shouldn't we be concerned?"
It looks like a steak, right? But why? It's falling apart. Look how easy to come off. And I pulled out some meat, but look how perfectly cut. Why? They print it out? Since when you can put a finger in your meat and it falls apart? What the fuck is this?
A juicy, sizzling steak made by computer. While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology instead of animals.
Meat substitutes are not new, but unlike the soy-based crumbles that mimic ground beef, Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut like flank steak.
This is the holy grail of alternative meat.
But the most important part, how does it taste? This diner was happy.
The texture feels right. Even the smell smells like the real thing. Really authentic. For me, it's revolution.
That meat was repugnant. All the meat I consume comes from ranchers and butchers, not scientists.
Okay, explain this to me. How does a world-famous musician die? Then a year later, an actor appears on the scene with the exact same symmetry to his face. Not only that, they've got literally some of the same birthmarks and an eerie same voice. They both share a love for the colour purple, and here's Morgan Freeman, even dressed as Jimi Hendrix. How ironic. Coincidence? Maybe, but the maths just ain't mathing. So let's break this down. Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitarists to ever lived, allegedly died in 1970 at the young age of 27 years old. Then Morgan Freeman, who literally had 0 film credits before Jimi Hendrix died, started starring in Hollywood movies. He rolled up into Hollywood looking like Jimi Hendrix has just started a new career and was ready for action. They literally have the same teeth line, the same face symmetry. His career ended and his career started. They look like the exact same person. This is a 1 in a million chance. But hey, I'm sure it's just a wacky coincidence, right? Now, before anyone gets all worked up, relax. This is just a fun little experiment for entertainment purposes. Obviously, I don't believe anything that comes out of my mouth. Now let's keep on going because it gets even weirder. Now, if you've ever listened to Jimi Hendrix in an interview, close your eyes and just think of Morgan Freeman. You can literally hear the same person. If anyone in the comments has ever done this or saw a video of this happening, please pop a comment and give me your thoughts, because I know that you can hear the exact same person. Now, scientifically, faces and voices can be similar, but it's a 1 in a billion chance to have the same voice, the same face, the same nose, the same teeth, and coincidentally have one career end and the other one start. Jimmy, Morgan. Now, I'm not saying that this person is the other person. I'm just saying that the coincidences are completely through the roof. And if I was to bet on it, I'd stay well away from the odds. Much love. I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
What do you guys think about the recycled celebrities theory? There's some odd similarities. When you have moles in the same place, definitely raises some questions. I'm rather undecided on this rabbit hole. Maybe you guys can help me come to a conclusion. Are celebrities being recast into new roles? A whole new life with a whole new identity? Considering I don't even remotely care about celebrities, it's hard for me to have an opinion on this one. I certainly wouldn't put it past Hollywood to pull off something like that. It took that guy way too long to figure out his pants were on backwards. Must have been a rough night. I would hope that someone would tell me if they noticed something like that. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for coming by. See you next time.